What's up, YouTube? Ventmere here.
Hi.
The wife's in the background, looking at FMLs.
No, it's not FMLs, it's DMLL.
So I had a couple of friends ask me on Facebook what my tournament deck looked like. It's a Jack of all trades deck, which if some of the people on YouTube know from me getting back into this, I explained there are normally only three kinds of decks. There's either World Racer, your aggro, or Jack of all trades, which can do both. And it doesn't primarily focus on one or the other. With this, it's a Jack of all trades, with a tiny bit of, with Captain Pete, it kind of helps slow my opponent down from wanting to search because I can damage them easier. It's a really fun deck. I went to 6 tournaments back towards the end of right at the end of the game, and won all 6 tournaments. It was a really fun deck back then. I still love playing the deck. I made a couple of tweaks to it compared to back then. So let's show some Kingdom Hearts. I'm gonna go down the list by lowest level to highest level. Captain Pete, like I said, every time either player shuffles their deck, that player loses a health. So mid to late game, that can be huge, like when your opponent needs to Chip and Dale or King Mickey. They do that. Once your opponent's almost down to 0 cards, you can play down King Pete. As soon as they shuffle their discard back into their deck to restart their deck, they lose a health. So it's great for making your opponent force to choose their plays. Chip and Dale is after I've maybe discarded something that I didn't want to discard, something like that, where I can play it, remove it from the game, and then shuffle my discard pile back into my deck. And then the last card is the King. The King, let me put it this way, if he was in Yu-Gi-Oh, he'd be banned immediately. You have a limit 1 on the King. When he comes into play, you search your deck for any card and add it to your hand. As soon as that effect is applied, you discard him. Meaning you could play King, shuffle your deck, search your deck for any card, add it to your hand. As soon as you're done doing that, you could Chip and Dale it back, and then you could play down King Pete because you've already done your shuffling and searching, and then just sit on King Pete and watch your opponent try to struggle out of it. So it's awesome. I love the King. He's so hard. He was so hard to find. For some people, like, I looked up the ratios of actually hitting one of these after I bought him. It was 1 in every 3 cases, so you have to think about that. 1 in every 36 boxes had a copy of the King. A buddy of mine and I bought 2 boxes. I hit this out of my 4th pack into the box. I was so happy when I saw it. So, I was so happy getting the King. Next, level 1's Donald. He's mainly used for magic because you can immediately play Bambi level 3 off of him because his magic level is great. 2 Moogle. They just make it where you can go, I'm going to play Moogle, I'm going to play level 4s. The only backdraw to Moogle is the fact that your opponent can play off it too, but if you play it correctly, you can immediately just maybe Gravaga him off to where your opponent doesn't use it, or if you've got a Heartless on your world that you can beat over even if you add him onto it for the battle, get rid of him off there. Your opponent's not going to be, and make it where your opponent doesn't use your Moogle. I mean, it's whatever at that point. 1 Sid. He's a great draw support. Love Sid to death. You can discard him and then from your friend area, then discard as many cards as you want from your hand and draw that exact draw the exact same amount of cards as you discarded from your hand. Great card. If anybody out there has a foil copy of this Sid, please let me know. I've been looking for one for forever. I went to a tournament. I was one person, because a lot of the promos just were given out as if you were so many people in line. I was one person behind getting a copy of a foil Sid, so it made me really sad. 1 copy of King, 1 copy of Mickey Mouse. He lets you play any level of Donald or Goofy from your hand permanently, and it's only you that can use this this Mickey Mouse's effect. Last 2 level 1s are Diz. Diz states when he comes into play, you place 5 counters on him. During each of your phases, you can remove one of the counters from him and add it to Riku, and for each counter added to him, he gets a +1 to his support value, or his attack value. When, like my last video, I was talking about how they did card erratas. They errated Diz's effect because they weren't very specific when they made him, where they said Diz's effect of the plus only lasts until the end of the turn. So it evens itself out now, so he's not broken. I play 3 level 2s. Yuffie, it literally, when she comes into play, you randomly discard 1 card from your opponent's hand. That's pretty much all she's there for. That's it. She's great. Donald, level 2. Again, magic value, and he's got an okay support value. And then Beast. Beast is really good for getting rid of Heartless on your world, plus he's got a 1 magic value plus 6 support value. And then they errated Beast towards the end of the game, where it says you can discard this card from your friend area to remove X Heartless from your world, where X equals the level of the Heartless, where X is his level plus 1. So if you have a level 3 Heartless on your world, you can discard him and discard it. Or level 3 or lower. But you cannot use a level 2 Beast to get rid of a level 4, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm maybe explaining it just a little weird.
My foot's asleep.
Your foot's asleep?
Yeah, it hurts.
Her foot's asleep. So Beast is really good for getting rid of those low-level Heartless that you don't want to waste your magic on, or just in battles. I play 2 level 3s, 1 Donald, level 3, and 1 Bambi. Level 3, like I said, the great part about Bambi is as soon as you play Bambi, like if you play Bambi off your level 1 Donald, as soon as he comes into play, you draw 2 cards, and then you can, because of the Magic Friend rule, Magic Friends count in your hand as magic cards. So you can only play them off of one of your friends in play that has equal to or higher magic than the level of the friend you want to play. So as soon as you play Donald, you can play this, draw 2 cards, and then as soon as Magic Friends come into play, they are no longer considered magic cards, they are considered friend cards. So you can play off of their level. So you can go 1-3 and then play a level 4 friend because of his level. So that thing's great. Draw power, really good. I play several level 4s. Let's go just Donald and Goofy. As soon as either one of them come into play, you can search your deck from Goofy for any attack card, and from Donald you can search your deck for any magic card. Note, Donald's magic is a 6, which is amazing, and then Goofy's attack value is a 7. Now, I'll be honest, out of that same box that I hit the King, I hit a Cloud and 2 Sephiroth. Now, I gave one of my Sephiroth to a buddy of mine, just because he really was wanting Sephiroth, and I just handed the thing to him. I don't care how much it's worth now. He's a buddy of mine, and one of his favorite characters from Final Fantasy was always Sephiroth, so I just handed it to him. Sephiroth, when he would participate in a challenge, so when you declare a challenge against your opponent, he would not be discarded after that challenge ends. Cloud is the reverse. When you would declare a battle against a Heartless, Cloud is not discarded from your friend area. So, Heartless killer, health killer. So, these guys are amazing. Pretty much it's the aspect of world racing. The rushdown. So, it's literally both versions. Last level 4 is Orin. He gains a +1 support value for every friend you have in your discard pile. So he's freaking amazing. Now, one reason a lot of my friends wanted to see this on Facebook was just for the fact that, which I don't even know if I'm going to post this up on Facebook, I don't care, I'll probably just send it to the people that want to see it, let alone just post it all over Facebook, is because I've been picking up so many foils recently. 99% of the deck is foiled out right now, except for cards that cannot be foiled out. So let's go ahead and continue on from there, starting with the attack cards. 2 Soul Eater, they're a +2, you can only play them with a Riku, and when this card participates in the challenge against an opponent, you win, you deal an additional 1 damage to your opponent. Now, you cannot stack these effects. So even if you play both of these and win, your opponent does not lose 3 health, they still only lose 2. 1 Oblivion, and then 1 Ultima Weapon. Ultima Weapon is just like the King, limit 1 per deck. It's a plus 13 attack power. When this card participates in a battle against Heartless, if you defeat any Heartless when you go into that battle, you draw 2 cards. Rar. So not only can you use it during challenges to just make sure your opponent loses a health, if you've got a Heartless you just want to make sure you're drawing, just use it against a Heartless that you know you're going to beat anyway and just draw a couple of cards. It's amazing. Get into the worlds. I play 3 Disney Castle. It's a great card. I mean, there's nothing more you can really say about this card. When it comes into play, you draw a card, and then your opponent cannot play dark cards on it at all. Dark or nobody cards. Just at all. It's amazing. Winning. 2 Destiny Islands, level 2. Unlike a lot of level 2s where the amount of Heartless that can be played on this card is equal to its level, you can play 1 extra additional. So your opponent can play up to 3 Heartless on this card. So it's okay.
Great advice for every guy.
So when this card is played, you search your deck for any level 0 friend and add it to your hand. Really good. Get into the level 3s. 2 Hollow Bastion. When you challenge a Heartless, or battle a Heartless on this card, you get -2 attack value. So, if I owned one more, just for the fact that these were not a very easily found common, like I opened 3 boxes of this set, and I own 2 copies of this Hollow Bastion. This was not an easy common to find. I think from what they said, they short printed this common because it pretty much is the best level 3 world in the game. And then the second best would be considered Traverse Town. When all Heartless played on this card gain +1 POW. That's really not a huge deal in this deck. I mean, it's really not. So because you're going to outmuscle things with Cloud, or you're just going to outmagic them and just wreck them off your world. Speaking of magic, let's get into it. 1 Cura, 1 Curaga, just regenerating health to make sure your opponent doesn't beat you by health. 2 Blizzaga to help World Race. I like the Break of Dawn art for 1. I really like how they did the art on all of the Break of Dawn. And then also, instead of the Blizzaga that originally came out, this one does 7 damage instead of 6. That 1 damage actually is a huge difference. And then 1 Graviga. Now, Graviga is not a huge game changer, but it really can be. Now, if your opponent has 1 card that you know as a friend card that you want to outmuscle, or like, say you're playing against a Roxas deck, they've got a level 1 Samurai that's giving them that you know that they're sitting in their friend area with 12 support value. Play this and get rid of it. Just get rid of it quick. Let's get into the Heartless and Dark cards. Sorry, get this a little more close together. Rawr. 2 Creeper Plant. They literally are only to be used against Stealth Sneaks because they have 1 health. Creeper Plant, when discarded, does 1 damage to 1. Does 1 damage. That's it. 3 Stealth Sneak. Stealth Sneak, even with this card existing in the game and with Stealth Sneak's errata, you have to get Creeper Plant or whatever you need to get Stealth Sneak off your world into your hand to get rid of said Stealth Sneak. Stealth Sneak is the most annoying Heartless in the game. Like, Behemoth's really annoying because you have to use all of your friend cards to get rid of it. Stealth Sneak is annoying for the fact that you have to have one of maybe 8 cards in the entire Kingdom Hearts card game out of 100 card first set to 180 card second. So about 500 card set. There are only 8 cards in the entire Kingdom Hearts card game that can kill this thing. I can, once I remember all of them, I'll post a list of them right here for people, because I really don't care. If people know how to beat it, you need to know how to beat it to play around it. But Stealth Sneak is one of the most annoying Heartless in the entire game, just for the fact you have to have one of those like 8 cards to kill it. And then my last Heartless is Cerberus. Now, whereas my Roxas deck, I played Behemoth because your opponent has to use all of their friends. My point behind playing Cerberus, which I probably may add in a Behemoth to this deck as well, along with playing Cerberus. Cerberus not only gets rid of all cloud cards in play, so even if you've got one, you get rid of your cloud, that's fine. You can shuffle it back in by playing Chippendale and get it back later. My point by playing Cerberus is not only can I get rid of my opponent's cloud cards, but to even challenge Cerberus or battle against Cerberus, you have to have a minimum of 3 friend cards participate in the battle against Cerberus. So if your opponent is running very low on friends after so long, this card late game can be a huge game changer. If they've just got Cloud and they've only been sitting on it, getting rid of friends and things like that because they didn't think Heartless were going to affect them much, you can play Cerberus on them and just kind of roll from there. Because not only is he an 18 POW, which is kind of big for a Heartless, you can just sit on Cerberus for several turns while your opponent has to keep trying to draw into their friends after they've exhausted probably several of them after the late game. So Cerberus is amazing. So let me know what you guys think of this deck. Like I said, I went to 6 tournaments with it. There were only a couple of minor tweaks, like I added in 1 extra Creeper Plant from what I used to play. I added in 1 extra Blizzaga from what I used to play. I don't remember what exactly I took out, but I think I actually just upped my count by 2 cards, and it's made a world of difference. World. But it's a really fun deck. It's always been my favorite deck I've ever played. I'm going to be showing more deck profiles here as we go. The next video, and I promise you, the next video I post after this will be a tutorial video of how to play Kingdom Hearts. It will be probably I'll probably do it in 2 or 3 different parts. The first video I may show the first first 2 or 3 phases and exactly what can go on during these phases, exactly how they work, and things like that, because after going to several tournaments, I really got to know the inner workings of the deck, and it's a lot of fun. So, please, 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 please let me know what you guys think. If you guys really did like this video and you want to see more Kingdom Hearts videos, let me know, and I will put more Kingdom Hearts videos together, just for the fact that this card game is so much fun. If you guys have not had a chance to play the card game, please pick up some cards, maybe even just a $15 starter deck, and test it out. It's one of the most fun card games I probably have ever played. I love this card game to death. So just please let me know what you guys think. Don't forget if you want to see more, please hit the like button on here, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.